Hello,
Trypticon.
everyone! It's Trypticon, the one that fights Metroplex, the giant dinosaur man who makes me think of Godzilla the
Pretty
Transformer.
much. Like, Trypticon G1 showed up in one issue of the Marvel Comics ever.
Huh.
Barely exists. Trypticon IDW barely existed until the whole primacy thing.
How's it going over there, Zero? How you
Funny.
doing?
Oh, that's my friend's stream. Sorry, I didn't think I had. I thought I had her muted. But funny enough, the only Trypticon I really know about is the one from the Cybertron video game. War
He's
for
a ship
Cybertron.
now.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
someone made a. There is a third-party toy of him.
Why'd you need that? You got Titan's Return Trypticon.
And I think they wanted to be more accurate in terms of design. But yeah.
Oh, you mean specifically? Oh, okay, so it's Planet X then.
Yeah.
Since they're the one who do the whole War for Cybertron designs.
They look really good, though.
Yeah, but how many hundreds of dollars are they?
Yeah, listen, if we were rich VTubers, that would be easy. Like, every time you see a YouTuber and you think, they gotta be rich while doing this. We are not.
I've gotten maybe 3 payouts.
I've, gotten more than that, but overall I just try to use the money towards projects. That reminds me, I still have to talk about Cupcake and ask her if she'd like to help us with the animation. I'm not good with talking to people.
Oops, you.
Anyway.
Was that her stream in the background?
What?
Was that her stream in the background or someone else?
No, that was Misa, my friend Misa. I follow Cupcake, but I don't think I've ever seen her stream. Anyway.
Okay, I'm checking. That is a pretty good Nemesis alt mode. I'll give him that.
Anyway.
Oh, you prefer a city mode.
Cool.
With a purposeful grimace and a terrible
I like that he has a gun
this
in
week's
his
episode
mouth.
looks at the basics on
What else
Cybertron's
are you gonna do
very
with that?
own kaiju,
gun
the
there?
Decepticon dinosaur
He really
titan.
is the kaiju of the
Trypticon.
series, huh?
Yeah.
The original Trypticon toy was first released in 1986. He
Alright.
was one of the first
I'm not gonna talk
Transformers
about the
that today
Japanese
we
timeline
call
of Trypticons. He's
Titans,
fucking
huge
confusing.
robots who
Oh,
transform
what do you mean?
I mean, there's like 3 Trypticons because they have to, to account for different design under the explanation of, every time Metroplex kills him, they just rebuild him.
Oh. Well then.
And also there's a time-traveling Galvatron from the U.S. Marvel Comics running around.
Oh, wonderful. Anyway.
They named him Galvatron 2, so then so then he traveled even further back in time before Galvatron was a thing because he was sick of people calling him Galvatron 2. It's kind of dumb.
Entire
That
cities.
is dumb.
Designed as a Decepticon counterpart to the Autobot Titan Metroplex, the Trypticon toy stood 12 inches
Ironically,
tall and had 3
not part of the
modes.
same toy line.
That's strange.
Metroplex was designed for the Diaclone toy line and Free Combination,
Okay.
which was ultimately scrapped but meant to include all 4 of the Scramble City combiners and Metroplex. So Metroplex actually has interaction with both the limbs. They can attach to him as armor, and they can also attach to all 4 team leaders' base modes.
Okay.
Trypticon was designed for Transformers.
Oh. Huh.
And he can connect to the Decepticon base modes, but he needs additional adapters to do so.
Interesting.
A dinosaur robot mode with motorized walking action, a city for small Decepticon toys to interact
Motorized
with,
walking
and a
action.
rolling battle station. His city mode could be expanded by attaching the Decepticon's Motormaster and
Whoa.
Onslaught to it in their base modes.
Huh.
Trypticon came packaged with the small Decepticon Full Tilt, who
He
transformed
finally
into a
has
car and
characterization
became
after all
Trypticon's
these years.
chest plate,
Wait, really?
and the tank Brunt,
Yeah.
who was formed by
Yeah.
combining
Beast
the
Wars
towers
Uprising
of
story.
Trypticon's city mode.
Pause for a second.
Marvel Comics.
So basically, a crew of Beast Wars Neo characters were investigating a planet on board their ship, the Dinosaur, when the Call for Revolution went out, and their Micromaster or boss started started bumping off half the crew that was on the ship, while simultaneously everyone who made landfall was dealing with the Destructons making a play at getting to Cybertron.
Destructons?
They're from an old comic that was part 1 of 3.
Okay.
They're led by Lord Imperius Delirious, and I actually legitimately love their designs.
Imperius Delirious sounds like an early Marvel character.
He will break you with his delirious fire.
It's this is reminding me of the Lizard League now. Anyway.
His name's ridiculous. I actually do like him as a character. Anyway, the big reveal. The dinosaur was Trypticon, trapped in a starship mode because he didn't have the energy to transform, and he fucking loathed his crew.
Oh.
He hated them for having mobility, for having freedom, while he was stuck like this.
Oh. So he feels like Am.
Pretty much. So he was more than happy to let their supervisor kill them, and even help by crushing some of them in walls. The captain was Full Tilt, who actually liked the crew. They'd never spoken with him, but he was Trypticon's life support.
Oh.
As Trypticon was injured during the war.
Huh.
And he ultimately agreed. Sadly, they had to lobotomize his old friend, HAL 2000 style.
Yeah, Daisy.
Yeah, and ultimately they managed to form a unofficial Cybertronian colony on the world using Trypticon's body.
Huh. That's an interesting end. Bob Budiansky. We always hear him writing for stuff.
Yeah, that's because he wrote all that. That's because he basically did the first half of Marvel Transformers and did all the profiles.
It's kind of crazy.
Bob
That's a lot of
Budiansky
writing.
wrote a profile for Trypticon that characterized him as a
Vermin gets all
remorseless
the
killing
credit.
machine.
Yeah.
He hated everyone and everything, including his fellow Decepticons.
Oh.
But it was all a cover for the fact that he hated himself most of all, for allowing himself to be used as a weapon for a cause he didn't believe in.
Yeah,
a
this
war
doesn't
he
show
thought
up a
was
lot.
boring and pointless.
Yeah, I'm not
However,
surprised.
this profile was ignored
He's
by the
just throwing
Transformers animated
battleships.
series, which instead depicted Trypticon as just a big, dumb beast who spoke in fragmented
His eyes are
sentences.
big enough to fit in Unicron's head, allegedly.
You promised me Metroplex, me smash him!
Oh my
Introduced
God.
in the
He
cartoon's
talks caveman
third
speak.
season, Trypticon was created in the year 2005 by the Constructicons, who built him out of a human city. Spotlight
Somehow.
Adventures
Horrifying.
for Trypticon in the series saw him destroy
Hidden
the
at night.
Autobots' volcano headquarters, steal
Damn.
various national monuments
What?
from Middle Eastern dictator
Somehow.
Abdul Fakadi, and clash multiple times with his Autobot rival
This looks
Metroplex.
cool, though.
Battles that
Oh, yeah, it must
usually
have been one of the
ended
well-edited
with Trypticon
episodes.
being hurled into the nearest body of water. Full
Yeah.
Tilt and Brunt didn't really appear in the cartoon, only showing up as parts of
show
Trypticon's
you the
various
true terror
modes.
of the
But
Decepticons.
Trypticon would appear in quite a bit of spin-off
Get a
media
board
and
game.
merchandise in
Wow.
Japan, and they did make some appearances in stories there. In fact, Trypticon himself actually appeared in the Japanese original direct-to-video special.
So canonically, this is
Scramble
the earliest
City,
Trypticon in the
a few months
timeline.
before his debut on American television, emerging from the ocean to battle Metroplex at the special's cliffhanger ending.
Not
In
surprising.
This
the
caused
Legends
a notable
comic-
continuity error, as it showed
Yeah.
Trypticon to be active in the 1980s.
The Legends comic
20
then
years
indicated
before
Metroplex
he was
fucking ended
created,
him.
according to the American
Oh.
series. Neither the
they rebuilt
cliffhanger
him
nor
20 years
the
later.
error would be resolved in any classic media. It wouldn't be until 2017 that an
Okay, so I keep
explanation
not
was
expecting
provided
to
in
address this shit.
Well, you didn't expect him to address this?
It felt like minutia.
Well, I mean, it is a whole episode on Trypticon, so...
I can never tell what he's gonna tell us about and what he's not. And I keep feeling like I'm preempting the poor guy.
I mean, it's understandable. You're both, like, with one Transformer fan to another, you each find different points important about a character.
Also, Trypticon used some Shin Godzilla inspired modes for that comic.
I am not surprised in the slightest.
Transformers Legends manga, which explained that Trypticon was blown to bits by Metroplex in the 80s, but Full Tilt survived, acting as a kind of black box that preserved Trypticon's life functions, which allowed him to be rebuilt 20 years later. Other Japanese original media in which Trypticon prominently featured included the 1987 sequel series Transformers The Headmasters, and though his toy was discontinued in 1988, he returned in 1990's Transformers Zone as one of 9 Decepticon generals.
So the 9 Decepticon generals are Trypticon, Overlord, and like 7 combiners, all of which have ridiculous armor.
Yeah, he has like this looks like a completely different character for a completely different show.
They all died.
I'm not surprised.
Over the legendary Zodiac.
The Zodiac.
Back in America, Trypticon also appeared in
one fucking appearance
comic book, in which he was sent to Earth from Cybertron to attack the Autobots' headquarters, only to be fended off by the Dinobots.
They did not fend
them off. The comic depicted Trypticon as an intelligent bot.
Really?
They wasted his time until he expended the fuel budget for the series, and since they had also just introduced Decepticon accountant Ratbat, he called him and was like, Trypticon? No. You're over budget. Come back.
You're over budget on your Energon.
I think he also showed up to deal with a zombie-infested city in the UK comics.
Huh.
Yeah, they sent Flywheels to go get backup, and he came back with the best backup.
Oh.
In line with Budiansky's character profile. Though oddly, the story replaced Full Tilt with a sycophantic little Decepticon named Wipeout. This issue was Trypticon's only appearance in the American comic,
also,
but he did reappear in a story.
Something about Wipeout, because I thought he was going to mention this. He's probably based on a random tailgate toy around the office.
That's not that surprising. When comic
like his shape, his chest detailing match up with tailgate stickers.
Huh.
And he actually later got a toy made from a wind charger.
Cool.
He has a grease gun.
Exclusive to the United Kingdom's version of the series, helping to battle the zombie hordes of the Autobot mad scientist, Flame.
Oh, that's a thing?
In the 21st century, Trypticon has often featured in new Transformers media like comic books and video games, but it would be some time before he would have a truly major role again. In some stories, he was a dumb beast, in others an intelligent bot. For example, his brief but memorable showing in the 2003 Dreamwave Productions miniseries, War Within: The Dark Ages, which depicted him in a campy manner, as a cheerful and well-spoken chap who rather loved his job. But in still other stories, he appeared only as a lifeless, non-transforming city or building on Cybertron. For instance, a Trypticon prison was going to be featured in the Transformers animated cartoon, but the show was cancelled before it could appear. For years, he only got odd little toys, including one in the Transformers Classics toy line, recolored from
they remade it for Grimlock.
Scourge.
But it was apparently originally supposed to be Dinobot who got the second mouse reticle.
Does the mouse work?
Yes.
Huh.
That's a USB cord coming off. The issue is these things are hard to find and you don't want a bootleg. The bootlegs will have malware.
That's understandable. I thought it was because they were shoddily made and would easily fall apart, but yeah.
Oh no, the real ones do that too.
Oh dear God.
That transformed from robot to three-headed dragon. And another in the Device Label series, which became a working computer mouse.
Yeah, no, Ravage Flash Drive.
A dedicated figure of Wipeout from the Marvel comic was released.
Well, Rumble and Frenzy earbuds, fucking Soundwave MP3 players, Blaster USB dock. There's a video of a guy who replaced as much shit as he could with Transformers for like a month.
In Japan's Transformers United toy line. Trypticon's big return to the spotlight finally came in the 2010 video game War for Cybertron.
There he is.
In the game's story, which
boy.
was expanded on in the tie-in novel Exodus, this
Contradicted
version
by
of
you,
Trypticon began life as a space station orbiting Cybertron, where
Exodus isn't a great
scientists
book.
studied the dangerous Dark Energon. After the
Unfortunately.
Decepticons seized the station,
Just play the
they
games.
modified it, giving
Yeah.
it life and the ability to
It's
transform into
oh
a
yeah, you play
reptilian
as
robot
you
mode.
play as Jetfire during this. I remember.
Well,
this.
the book indicates Shockwave explicitly gave Trypticon life. The games kind of are vague, but seem to imply Trypticon was always a sapient transformer. But no, in the book, Shockwave hooked up 13 sparks.
Huh.
Mode that
Shockwave,
served as the game.
where did you get those?
Where do you think?
Answer me, Shockwave.
Shockwave really is just the Mr. Sinister of Transformers.
It's going to be 14 in a second if you don't stop asking.
You don't know much about Mr. Sinister, but let's just say whenever he's introduced in the X-Men, everyone starts freaking out and going, "We need to find this guy and kill him." Yay, we did. That was a clone? God damn it.
Yeah. Like I said, I've been fanboying over Mysterio recently on the grounds. How many people ever managed to land a clean kick to the dick against Spider-Man?
Huh.
It's not many.
Mysterio's...
Well,
Mysterio's only trick in the back is he is an illusionist. He has no actual real powers.
yeah, everyone knows this. He's still one-upping them. He fucking punked the Sorcerer Supreme, and his illusions were so good, they went through universal awareness. He beat the spider sense through sheer bullshitting.
It's a high level of bullshitting, only compared to that one dude in Isekai.
And also that time he shot himself in front of Daredevil.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he got a tumor, wanted to ruin someone's life, drive a hero crazy as his parting shot. But Peter wasn't around, and he got the vibe that this Ben Reilly guy wasn't worth it.
Oh my god. Anyway.
So he spent a month ruining Daredevil's life.
Final boss. Deactivated by the Autobots in this final showdown,
Yeah.
the game's 2012 sequel, The Fall of Cybertron, detailed how Trypticon's offline body was then permanently rebuilt into the starship, the Nemesis.
I love how in this game, Megatron goes through it just to tell Trypticon, "This is not a rescue mission. You failed me. Now you are going to be forced into our
You
ship."
failed me. Lacking Astrotrain, you are now designated Space Bus, Trypticon.
He didn't even sugarcoat it or anything. He's just like, "Yeah, you're our ship from now on because you failed me."
I always assumed that one episode where the Nemesis came back online when they put some Dark Energon into it and started taking over, it was left ambiguous whether this conscious was new or not. I always assumed they accidentally revived Trypticon and he was pissed.
I would be probably pissed too.
Which went on to serve as the Decepticons' base of operations on Earth in the Transformers Prime cartoon. In this series, an infusion of Dark Energon briefly brought the ship to life again, only for it to turn on the Decepticons and have to be deactivated once more. As the 2010s continued, Trypticon would also rise to prominence in IDW Publishing's comic books. In IDW stories, Trypticon was a prehistoric beast from Cybertronian legend, who was long ago imprisoned beneath the planet's surface by Metroplex, until the Decepticons found and awakened him during the war.
Really
Initially
bad
just
idea.
a mindless monster, he was granted intelligence
A bit more than
when
that, actually.
Megatron implanted part of the alien Quintesson, Pentius's life force.
It wasn't just the Decepticons who found him. No. Well before this, the Dinobots found him. The Dinobots found his corrupted Energon. This corrupted Energon caused them to go berserk and kill their medic.
Oh.
But not before he was able to somewhat stabilize them by giving them monstrous alternate modes. And also, Megatron wasn't the one that woke up Trypticon. It was actually Scorponok, who at the time was going through his survival of the fittest phase, and had also just blown up the planet's main source of food.
Wonderful.
Megatron was on Junkion, abandoned to die, currently beating the piss out of every Junkion he found.
Of course he was.
Body. IDW's comics were the first to really explore the self-hating characterization from Trypticon's original profile, as after
So he's
years
fighting,
of letting
"You're
himself be
endangering my
used
children?"
and
What?
abused as a weapon, he
Yeah,
decided to
Trypticon
seek a
hates
new,
kids.
peaceful life that would finally bring him some happiness. He became the guardian of a new generation of young Cybertronian life, and served as the Earth Embassy on Cybertron,
Interesting.
but would ultimately meet his end defending Earth against the monster planet
I fucking hate this panel.
Why?
In 2000.
Because, while Trypticon's dying, Slide or Euler, I think it's Slide, I stopped caring. So she was always terrible throughout the entire comic. Like, yes, Optimus was not the moral center he had led to believe himself to be. He was going a bit off the deep end, believing he had some sort of divine right now. The world was fucking ending, Trypticon was dying in the background, and Slide was still going on about how awful Optimus is.
Yeah, at that point you're just like, shut the
If you have a point, fuck you!
It's at that point where basically it doesn't matter if you have a point or not. The world is ending and everyone's fighting. Shut up and pick up a gun.
Yeah. No, I fucking hate the All Hail Optimus era. Because maybe there was something good there. Maybe there was an idea. But nothing worked about it. And also, by this point, IDW had bastardized every single squeaky clean hero character into Moral Grays.
It's that era. I hate that shit. Like, I understand
That was the era where Optimus annexed Earth for the greater good.
Here's the thing. You can have morally gray heroes, but don't turn the squeaky cleans in order to, like, make them morally gray. Why not just give them a foil that's morally gray? Why not just do that? Do you need to tear down every single hero?
What? Yeah, no, Optimus, he was morally gray. He was making calls under the belief that he was the 13th Prime. He was using that to justify what he did. He fucking annexed Earth. I cannot move past this. Star Saber turned into a religious zealot that slaughtered everyone and everything who isn't just as insane as he was. Was fucking Optimus Primal just plain evil?
Just plain evil.
Actively working. Well, the Maximals and Predacons in this timeline are allied with Unicron.
What?
Yeah, no, they were just Shockwave's cannon fodder for his last-ditch attempt at taking Cybertron, and they turned on Shockwave to ally with Unicron out of spite towards how poorly the history he created treated beast formers. Like, the only character that's even remotely close to the squeaky clean hero is Thunderclash, and he's a fucking parody of the concept.
It sounds like whoever writing this really took a little too much.
I like Phase 4. I do not like All Hail Optimus, and I feel Star Saber. No, like, Roberts, I like your work. I really like your work. Why did you do that to Star Saber?
Well, you have a similar feeling that some people do to one of the writers of 40K, where he really turned some people into the Golden Boys. A little too much, but he had some good writing.
Like, yeah, Star Saber, a lot of people will point to him and say he's the first Brave character.
Brave?
The Japanese Super Robot series, Brave.
Yeah, it took me a second.
He's the first.
Oh, then he's literally Super Robot.
Yeah, he's extraordinarily Super Robot. He has an adopted human child.
Okay, so what they did there makes no sense whatsoever then. Alright.
Yeah, apparently it was a reference to his old fanfic days when he was part of a prolific fan community in the 90s, and that was how he portrayed Star Saber in his fan novel.
Yeah, great. Listen, just because you're right.
And again, back then, people didn't know shit about Victory. We're going on about how it's this edgy and dark show that would never be able to air on Western TV. The ending theme's about do you think Star Saber ever wet the bed as a kid?
All right then. It just makes
It was not that dark a show.
It just makes me think about how people don't realize that one of the ending themes of Dragon Ball is about teaching a dragon to ride a ball.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's what Hasha Hetchala. That's what the song's about. That's why Team 4-Star always makes the joke of Toriyama. I'd love to see your dinosaur. It does what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2015, Hasbro held a fan poll to determine the next figure in the huge Titan
I'm on
class
Team
range,
Metroplex.
and Trypticon won, leading to the release of a brand new toy of him in
Cool.
the
I actually
Titans
voted for
Return toy
Scorponok
line
at the time.
in 2017. Standing
Because,
20 inches tall, the largest Decepticon
I
figure
figured
ever
Trypticon would be
made.
one eventually.
Hmm.
And they had just put out a Fort Max toy in the same line. So I wanted the rival to our Fortress Maximus. Mind you, we
At the
got
time.
all three of those options eventually.
Also, for those that don't know, I do read all your comments all the time. I see them immediately.
I read the comments on the videos I'm relevant to.
Do you mean the videos you're in or the village?
The ones I'm in, the ones I suggest.
The toy featured the classic dinosaur and city modes, but in a nod to the War for Cybertron version of the character, reworked his battle station mode into a spaceship. Like the original toy, he came with full tilt, whose head now disconnected and transformed into the Titan Master Necro, based on Wipeout. While the complementary, fully transformable figure of Brunt was sold separately a few years later in 2019's Siege toy line.
Alright.
The release of this new toy earned Trypticon a major role in Machinima's Titan's Return webtoon.
He ate Starscream's
Set in an
soul.
era after the end of the war, this series saw Trypticon reactivated after years offline, when his remains were reanimated by the ghost of Starscream. Rampaging out of control, the reborn Trypticon battled Metroplex, Fortress Maximus, and both the Autobot and Decepticon combiners, but was eventually deactivated when Autobot scientist Perceptor used the Matrix of Leadership to expel Starscream from his body.
What?
The new toy was also released in Japan as part of the Transformers Legends line, which led to Trypticon's appearance in the aforementioned Legends manga. In addition to resolving that old continuity error, the manga also invented a new beast mode for Trypticon, inspired by one of the new forms taken by the famous movie monster Godzilla in his 2016 film Shin Godzilla. And like that legendary king of monsters, we can be sure that Trypticon will rise up from the depths over and over to menace the Autobots and Metroplex in particular again and again.
They like making Godzilla references with him. It's not hard.
He looks more like a robotic Godzilla than Mecha Godzilla does, frankly.
Sometimes, yeah. Anyway, what are all of your thoughts on Trypticon? Is he your favorite Titan? Is he your favorite overall? Do you just like that we have basically Transformer Godzilla?
I'm actually kind of mixed on it, because, like, I like Scorponok more. I'm very split on whether I like Scorponok as a Titan more. Because he's had some really good stories when he's small. And a lot of people don't even remember Scorponok was a Titan.
I just remembered he was a giant Titan that transformed into a giant scorpion.
Mostly but in a lot of media, he's just a tall dude.
The only reason I remember that is because I saw the new toy of him that looks really bad. It's it's single step.
Yeah, I don't think it's single step.
Oh, it is.
It's still bad, but like, let us know if you want us to review and watch the new Transformers web series when it comes out in July.
Oh, that'll be fun. What is it called?
It's like Cyberworld.
If we can, I'll put that over on my page. If I can, I'll put that over on YouTube when it comes out. If I can't, you'll see shorts of it over here and over on the Patreon. You'll see.
Probably also do the Wild King shorts.
Yeah, we probably should. Anyway, thank all of you for stopping by, and I hope to see you all again later. Like, comment, subscribe if you want more, and later.